My PC was in complete chaos with endless crashes, blue screens of deaths, and I had no idea what was going wrong with it. I couldn't even boot it up without it instantly getting a blue screen of death. After 3 intense days of testing, troubleshooting, replacing parts, and upgrading to a new GPU, I thought I finally conquered it, but the battle wasn't over yet. Just as I caught my breath and I thought I figured it out, the overheating problems kicked in, triggering crashes all over again. 2 days in a complete fan and AIO reconfiguration later, I finally had it running smoothly, no more crashes, no more overheating, and finally, no more blue screens of death. But let me tell you, I came extremely close to tossing the whole thing out my second floor window. In today's video, I'll walk you through every problem, test, and fix I tackled in those 5 days of PC madness, so sit back, relax, grab a snack and a drink, because you don't want to miss this story. Welcome back to LA Electronics, your go-to hub for the latest PC tech news, leaks, and all things GPUs and CPUs. If staying ahead of the tech game matters to you, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you're always in the loop. And don't forget to follow me on X, where I drop the latest updates before diving deeper into them in the videos. Trust me, you don't want to miss out. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because instead of our usual content, I'm taking you through my recent PC disaster saga. From non-stop crashes and dreaded blue screens of death to relentless overheating, I went through 5 intense days of testing, swapping out parts, and nearly tossing my entire PC out the window. So grab your snack, get comfortable, and get ready for the full story behind my PC nightmare and how I finally got it up and running. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Over 5 intense, frustrating days, I found myself battling non-stop PC issues like constant crashes, blue screens of death, overheating, and much more. At one point, I was so fed up with it, I nearly threw my entire PC out my second floor window. It all started while playing Black Ops 6. My entire PC started crashing, so I thought maybe the graphics settings were pushing my GPU a little too hard, so I turned everything to low, but nope, that didn't fix it. My PC kept crashing. Then it got even worse. The game itself started crashing before I could even play it, so I hit the Black Ops forums to see if it was just me, and sure enough, others were reporting similar problems. I was relieved to see that it might be just a game issue, so I decided to take a break and fired up NBA 2K24. It worked fine for a bit. After an hour, my PC crashed, so I restarted it and tried 2K24 again, but nope, my PC crashed again. On my third attempt of trying to play NBA 2K24, I finally got my first blue screen of death. Now, seeing that screen made my heart drop to the floor. I restarted my PC and it was back up, but for about 30 minutes. Then I got another blue screen of death. Now, every time I tried loading up a game, the same thing happened. Non-stop crashes and blue screens of death. I literally could not load up any game without getting a blue screen of death. I knew something was seriously wrong with my PC. Given that everything else on my PC worked fine except for gaming, I started suspecting that my GPU was on its last legs. My old Zotac Gaming GTX 1660 had served me well for about 3 years now, but I realized it was definitely time for an upgrade. The main problem, I was on a tight $200 budget, which ruled out Nvidia GPUs, which is what I prefer, but since they're nearly impossible to find new for under $200, that left me with one option: AMD's Radeon line. AMD offers solid choices in this price range, so I took the plunge and went with, you ready for this? An RX 5700 XT from ASRock, which was right under my $200 budget. Now, hold on. I already know what you guys are gonna say. You bought a 5-year-old GPU from 2019. That's a total waste of money. It's not gonna work that good in 2024. But here's the deal. I was working with a tight $200 budget, and for that price, the RX 5700 XT is still a powerhouse. Plus, I got some exciting videos coming up about it, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on so you don't miss them. First, I will be uploading an unboxing of the 5700 XT and my initial first impressions. Then I will be uploading another video where we will test it and put it through the ultimate gaming test to see how this 5-year-old GPU handles modern titles in 2024. Now let me quickly tell you though that this card can still pack a punch at 1440p. You'll be just as blown away as I was with the FPS numbers from this 5-year-old GPU. So with the new GPU installed, I fired up my PC, loaded into NBA 2K24, and it was smooth as butter. Black Ops 6 had no issues at all. Keep in mind that we are still on day 1 of 5, but just when I thought the nightmare was over, it happened again. Another crash and another blue screen of death. Frustrated but determined, I shut down my PC and restarted it, only to sit at a blank screen for about 25 minutes before my BIOS even showed up. And when it finally did, it led me straight to another blue screen of death. I tried rebooting over and over, but maybe once out of every 8 attempts I'd actually get past my BIOS and get into Windows 11, but each time my PC instantly gave me a blue screen of death. This was the beginning of the endless crashing and blue screens of death. A roller coaster of frustration that seems like it would never end. This is the true point where I thought my PC was actually dying. Right here, I gave up for the day and I said I'll figure the rest of this out tomorrow. So stay tuned because I'm going to break down everything I did to troubleshoot this nightmare and you don't want to miss it. Welcome to day 2 of my 5-day PC nightmare. By this point, my PC was barely making it past BIOS, only loading into Windows 11 about 1 in every 8 attempts, and each time I saw Windows 11, it was an instant blue screen of death. Right away, I suspected, okay, it might be my RAM. I had 4 8GB sticks of G-Skill Ripjaws running at 3600 MHz, but my system was only showing speeds of 1800 MHz. Any attempt to increase it beyond that caused crashes, basically confirming that my RAM was the root cause of these endless blue screens of death. Not knowing exactly which sticks were causing the issues, I did some quick research and found out about a program called Memtest86. It's been around for a while, so I booted up Memtest86 with all 4 of my RAM sticks plugged in. Yes, all 4. I know the advice is usually to test 1 stick at a time, but I mean, come on, it's 2024, not 1998. Testing them all together helps spot any issues faster. If they all pass, you're done without wasting time, and if it fails, then you know you do have faulty RAM, so now you can test them one at a time to figure out which one is bad. And wouldn't you know it, halfway through, Memtest86 flagged over 10,000 errors and failed my PC. Now I knew for sure that I had bad RAM. To pinpoint the faulty sticks, I tested each one individually in its original slot. And here's a pro tip, make sure you always test each RAM stick in the slot that it normally uses. And if a stick fails, put a known good stick in that slot to rule out a bad slot. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because I'll be dropping a tutorial soon on how to properly use Memtest86 in 2024 to test your RAM sticks. After going through each stick, I found that 2 of them failed the test, the ones in slot 2 and slot 4. I double checked by putting my good sticks in those slots and they passed just fine. So that confirmed all 4 of my memory slots were okay. So I was left with 2 dead RAM sticks out of 4. While this was frustrating, the solution was clear. I just run with 16GB of RAM instead of 32GB for now. It's a quick fix and enough to get me back up and running. But keep in mind that it took me all day to test 4 RAM sticks individually. It took about 2 to 3 hours for each single stick to test. So that was about 8 to 12 hours in total of testing all 4 of them. Now you understand why I tested them all together at first. Because imagine wasting that whole 8 to 12 hours of your entire day testing them all individually one by one just to figure out that none of them are bad. It would have been a complete waste of time, but now with day 2 finally done, we can get into day 3 of 5 of this PC nightmare. On day 3 of this nightmare, I put in my new GPU, installed the good RAM, and pieced my PC back together. When I powered it on, it finally seemed like everything was running smoothly. No crashes, no blue screens of death, and I thought I conquered this beast. So I booted up Black Ops 6 so I could take a victory lap. A few matches in though, just as I was getting comfortable, my entire screen went black and boom, another blue screen of death. At this point, I was livid. I unleashed a stream of unfiltered words at my PC that I definitely will not repeat in this video, and if this was a cartoon, you'd definitely see the steam whistling out of my ears like a steam train. I was extremely close to chucking my whole setup out my 2nd floor window and calling it a day, but after some time to cool down, I turned the PC on again and miraculously it booted up fine. I hopped on NBA 2K24 and enjoyed an hour or 2 of smooth gaming, and then, yep, you guessed it, another crash and another blue screen of death. So now at this point, that window was looking awfully tempting now. After another 30-minute break, I booted up my PC, but this time I paid close attention to my temps. I quickly noticed that even while idling, my CPU, AIO, and my GPU were heating up way more than they normally should. When I fired up NBA 2K24, the temperatures soared, creeping towards critical overheating levels until they finally tipped over the edge and sent the whole system into another blue screen of death. It was clear that my new GPU was at the root of its overheating nightmare. The RX 5700 XT, easily twice the size of my old GTX 1660, was just pumping out too much heat for my setup to handle. This thing was practically a space heater, pushing my system way over safe temperature limits. So now, once again, I'm done for the day. Alright, now let's talk about days 4 and 5, which are the final stretch of this absolute PC nightmare. After testing, diagnosing, and swapping parts for the last 3 days, I was down to one last hurdle: the overheating issues. So once again, I tore my PC down, ready to give my entire cooling setup a complete overhaul. I replaced a few of my 120mm fans with 140mm fans for better airflow. And here's the kicker: I mounted my AIO externally on top of my PC case. Now I know, some of you might say, oh, mounting it outside could lead to damage, or it won't cool the radiator properly. But here's the thing: my PC lives in a cozy spot under my desk with a shelf right above it, so nothing will fall on the radiator. Plus, since mounting it outside, I've actually noticed my coolant, radiator, and CPU all run a few degrees cooler. On top of that, my PC's airflow is so much better now with all that extra room of not having the radiator inside my case. Now, I know you're gonna say, whoa, why don't you just buy a bigger case then? Well, I can't afford a new PC case because I barely afforded the RX 5700 XT. So in order to save money that I don't have, I just have to work with what I got. So after 2 more grueling days of fan swaps, mounting changes, and a cable management overhaul, my PC was finally back together. Before I hit that power button one last time, I said a quick prayer to God because my second floor window was still open and I didn't want to be tempted to chuck my PC out of it. This time when I powered it on and monitored the temperatures, everything stayed perfectly in check. The RX 5700 XT does run hotter than my old GTX 1660, so naturally the system is gonna run warmer. But idle temps are up a few degrees, and under load it's about 10 degrees hotter than before, but nothing that's pushing it to a dangerous level. Most importantly, my games run smooth, no more crashes, and no more blue screens of death. Knock on wood, am I right? My PC has been running flawlessly. All my games are playing on high or ultra settings now, and I'm easily getting over 100 FPS. Before, with my old GPU, I would be playing my games on low settings, and I would barely hit 40 FPS. I know, that's pretty bad, right? But like I said, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because I will have a video coming out soon where we are going to fully put the RX 5700 XT, a 5-year-old GPU, through its paces and test it against games of 2024 at 1440p and see how it stands up. Now I realize my next upgrade has to be a new PC case with better airflow, support for more 140mm fans, and a larger radiator. Eventually, I'm planning on upgrading the CPU, getting a bigger AIO, more RGB, and a beefier power supply, and maybe even a water block for the 5700 XT to go full custom water cooling. But with that being said, drop your thoughts on my entire PC build, this wild 5-day saga, and all the obstacles I faced down in the comments. And if you ever gone through a PC disaster like this of your own, I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button as it really helps out the channel, and drop a comment down below to let me know your thoughts on this crazy PC disaster story. Also, I'd love to hear if you ever faced a tech nightmare like this before. Thank you so much for tuning in, sticking with me throughout the whole story. As always, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.